Chapter 1611, Feeling Aggrieved. Xiao Dongliang laughed self-deprecatingly. The capital was really a gold mine. Even though a niche was just a square box of less than a square meter of space, the prices were still horribly expensive. While he was still working, he would have had to spend an entire year's worth of salary just to purchase this small square meter of space. But even after spending such a huge sum of money, there was no guarantee that he would be able to get the space ready in time. Xiao Dongliang did not wish for Xiao Zijin to have no resting place even after her death. He would have hated it if he had to carry Xiao Zijin's ashes and travel thousands of miles back to Pingcheng just to find somewhere to lay Xiao Zijin to rest. Your sister had envied the bustle of the capital her whole life. People say that you should return to your roots, but I know your sister would have wanted to stay in the capital. I have no choice but to ask you to waste this sum of money. His elder daughter had passed away so suddenly, and in such a tragic way as well. The car that had knocked her down was even his younger daughter's. After suffering from this double blow at once, Xiao Dongliang had no energy or spirit to deal with the details of Xiao Zijin's funeral. Xiao Nan had already guessed Xiao Dongliang's situation and thus decided to hire one of Zai Sheng's retired comrades to help out with this matter. In matters that required asking for favors, she would first use her own. If that failed, she would then resort to using the Zai family's name. With this double reassurance, it was smooth flowing for that comrade to deal with matters much easier than if Xiao Dongliang were to do everything himself. Xiao Nan bit on her lip. Dad, I don't mean to say anything against my conscience. But now that Xiao Zijin is gone, we should respect the dead. This money, I'll just treat it as accumulating karma. I hope that I'll never meet her again in my next life. Xiao Zijin and Ding Ji had not gotten along well as mother and daughter, and they were in no way happy. Her relationship with her sister was an even greater mess. It could be said that her relationship with her neighbor was even better than with her sister. In their next lives, it would be best if these three women never met in any way or even had a shred of relationship. Even if they met on the streets, Xiao Nan hoped that Xiao Zijin and Ding Ji would walk on the other side of the street. The three would be like parallel lines that would never intersect. Thinking about how she had already had 2 lives worth of relationships with these 2 women, Xiao Nan did not know whether to cry or laugh. Between the 3 of them, only she had such an experience. To that, she could not tell whether it was her blessing or Ding Ji's and Xiao Zijin's blessings. All right. You'll never meet in the future. Xiao Dongliang patted Xiao Nan on the shoulder. If there really was a next life, he would rather be a bachelor his whole life than marry a woman like Ding Ji again. As long as he did not marry Ding Ji, even if he had children, it would not be Zijin or Nan Nan. With a different mother, his child's childhood and even the child's whole life would definitely be much happier than the ones Zijin and Nan Nan had. He, too, would be much happier with a complete family. As the father and daughter were chatting, a loud confusion of noise and cries came from outside. Xiao Dongliang and Xiao Nan knew instinctively at the same time without needing to get out that the only person who would be making a din under such a situation could only be Ding Ji. No one else was capable of doing such a thing. Wait here. I'll go have a look. Thankfully, it's the last day today. She'll never get a chance to disturb Zijin anymore in her whole life. Xiao Dongliang's face was as cold as frost. Hearing Xiao Dongliang's words, Xiao Nan did not bother to persuade him otherwise. Instead, she started to burn paper money for Xiao Zijin as she looked at the photo of Xiao Zijin smiling on the altar. Around 10 minutes later, Xiao Dongliang returned with a sullen face and disheveled clothes. All right. It'll be fine now. We're in the capital. It's not like Pingcheng. Zijin's coffin will leave tomorrow, and she'll have somewhere to rest in the capital. I won't have to deal with her anymore in the future. This was a relief for everyone. Today was the first day after Xiao Zijin's death. Ding Ji had come dressed in white, with eyes that were as swollen as walnuts, to stay by Zijin's coffin. Unfortunately, Xiao Dongliang refused to let Ding Jiyi take even a step closer. Zijin said that she doesn't want you at her funeral. Zijin doesn't even want you to pay your respects. Do you think she would want you to stay by her coffin as her mother? Zijin is already dead. Could you just let her off and let Zijin take this last journey peacefully? Or do you mean that you want Zijin to continue hating you like how she did just before her death? After being scolded mercilessly by Xiao Dongliang, Ding Jiyi was even more heartbroken. In fact, Ding Jiyi had never forgotten the last call that she had had with Xiao Zijin before the incident. She had never let anyone know about the contents of this phone call, but she held it dear to her heart. From that day on, Xiao Zijin declared that she hated her, that she did not want to see her, and that she was going to cut off ties with her mother. Ding Jiyi felt aggrieved and anguished. She could not understand how Xiao Zijin could treat her in this manner even after she had devoted her whole life's efforts and love toward Xiao Zijin, even treating Xiao Nan as though she was a child picked up from the rubbish dump. If Xiao Nan did not listen to her and was not filial to her, Ding Jiyi would scold Xiao Nan for being heartless. And so, Ding Jiyi was completely unable to accept that Xiao Zijin not only hated her but also refused to acknowledge her as her mother even after she had given up everything for her. Why? What rights did Xiao Zijin have to say that? Even Xiao Nan did not have the right to say that. What put Ding Jiyi in more anguish and embarrassment was that Xiao Zijin refused to let Ding Jiyi come to her funeral. In the end, Xiao Dongliang really barred her, who was Xiao Zijin's mother, from entering. She was not even able to take one last look at Xiao Zijin. The grief-stricken Ding Jiyi felt as though she had used up her whole lifetime of tears in these few days. Her face was never dry for a second these days. Her close relatives, from her parents to Xiao Dongliang and her two daughters, why did every single one of them hate her? She wished that she had never existed. Could it really be that she was such a failure? Was she really that annoying? No, no. That could not be the case. She did not believe it. Not a single bit. It was the fault of all these people. Her parents favored boys over girls. Even though she was smarter than her younger brothers, her parents had never allowed her to attend school. Xiao Dongliang was no better. She married Xiao Dongliang when he had nothing and had accompanied him as he built his life. However, when she became old and haggard, Xiao Dongliang despised her and left her to live a better life with Xiao Nan. She had devoted her whole life to Zijin, but Zijin had let her down. Firstly, her academic results were poor. They were thousands of miles behind Xiao Nan's, let alone surpassing hers. Then, after she finally married into a good family, Zijin had to mess around with a man outside, ruining her perfectly good family. Chapter 1612, Clashing. Xiao Nan was the worst. She was the one who gave birth to Xiao Nan and gave Xiao Nan life. What was wrong with asking Xiao Nan for such an arrangement as a mother? Xiao Nan just had to follow what she said. She was not asking Xiao Nan to die. The path that she had arranged for Xiao Nan was more or less normal, aside from the fact that she did not get to study as much. She had not forced Xiao Nan into a corner. Did Xiao Nan have to resist so aggressively and cause her to get a divorce with Xiao Dongliang? That's right. It was the fault of all these people. Every single one of them let her down. She was the one who had been hurt the most. She had not wronged anyone. It was everyone else who had wronged her. Xiao Dongliang and Xiao Nan knew nothing about Ding Jiyi's warped ideas. The father and daughter spent 3 days before finally settling all of Xiao Zijin's things. Thinking about Xiao Zijin's daughter, Xiao Nan's tone deepened. Xiao Zijin's daughter is called Zhou Ying, right? Whether it was Zhou Ying or anyone from the Zhou family, no one turned up this time. Her dad had stopped Ding Jiyi and had refused her entry, but her dad had not forgotten to inform the Zhou family. The strange part was that everything had been settled, but in these 3 days, not a single person from the Zhou family appeared. Not even Xiao Zijin's biological daughter, Zhou Ying. Xiao Nan thought that this was rather strange. It was as though something was not quite right. She could understand Zhou Zhang not wanting to come. After all, it was already quite humane if a man who had been cheated on by his wife did not clap in glee when his wife was knocked down by a car. And so, not coming was understandable. However, even her daughter, Zhou Ying, did not appear to pay her last respects to Qiao Zijin. Wasn't this a little too much? Actually, Qiao Dongliang had been thinking about this matter as well. Should we give a call to the Zhou family and ask about their intentions? It's true that Zijin did something bad to the Zhou family, but she did nothing wrong to her child, Ying Ying. Now that her mom is gone, the Zhou family doesn't even want to let Ying Ying pay her last respects? No matter what, I think the Zhou family is being a little ridiculous. The thought of Qiao Zijin's daughter not appearing at her funeral made Qiao Dongliang pity Qiao Zijin. Nan, just look at the Zhou family's attitude. Do you think that Zijin did something wrong against Zhou Zhang because of something the Zhou family did to her? Maybe the Zhou family treated Zijin badly. Given Zijin's bad temper, she could have gotten into a relationship with a man outside just to get revenge on the Zhou family and Zhou Zhang. When he first found out that Zhou Zhang had angrily divorced Qiao Zijin because of her affair, Qiao Dongliang was no less infuriated than Zhou Zhang. His face was so flushed with anger that it seemed as though he was the husband who had been cheated on. But now that she was gone, Qiao Dongliang seemed to have changed his mind. Whatever he said needed to be filtered, and only then could anyone barely listen to what he was saying. At that time, when I heard that Zijin had done such a thing, I was so angry that I could have been confused. I didn't even stop to think about Zijin. I should have considered Zijin's point of view and communicated calmly with her to find out why she had done such a thing. Why would she choose to ruin her life when she was living such a good life? Nan, I think that something else must have caused Zijin's affair. It was probably because he felt that Zijin had died at such a young age and had passed on before himself that Qiao Dongliang was heartbroken and had started to think about what Qiao Zijin had gone through while she was still alive. Without any basis at all, and based only on his own conjectures, Qiao Dongliang came up with the truth of the matter. Nan, we can't let the Zhou family malign Zijin like that. Zijin can't carry this with her even after her death. Maybe the Zhou family is even trying to smear Zijin's name in front of Ying Ying, and that's why Ying Ying didn't appear. I have to get to the bottom of this matter. I have to find out how Zhou Zhang treated Zijin in the past few years and how the Zhou family drove Zijin into a corner so much so that she decided to have an affair. Nan, do you think it's possible that Zijin's affair was actually made up? That they made this up so that Zhou Zhang could get a divorce from Zijin? Maybe Zijin had never done anything wrong toward Zhou Zhang. Maybe she was framed. As Qiao Dongliang went on, he became increasingly serious and indignant. How he wished he could drag Zhou Zhang in front of him and interrogate him right then and there and demand Zhou Zhang to prove Qiao Zijin's innocence. It was probably a coincidence that Qiao Dongliang had just gotten these suspicions and Qiao Nan received a phone call before she could even say a thing. The moment Qiao Nan's phone rang, Qiao Dongliang naturally stopped talking. Qiao Zijin's innocence was important, and he had to clear the matter and prove his elder daughter's innocence, but his younger daughter's official matters were equally important. He could not ask his younger daughter to give up her career just for the sake of his elder daughter. Oh, I see. That's really coincidental that they've clashed. But is there really a need to be in such a hurry? It hasn't even been a few months since Qiao Zijin got divorced from Zhou Zhang, right? She had just heard that Zhou Zhang had gotten married to his ex-girlfriend. And it was just so coincidental that their wedding had been held over the past 2 days, clashing with Qiao Zijin's funeral. But what could Qiao Nan say? No wonder not a single member of the Zhou family had appeared. It was already polite of them not to clap and rejoice in glee now that their ex-daughter-in-law was dead. She could not possibly expect the Zhou family to put aside their son's second marriage, forego his wedding, and come all the way to the capital just to attend the funeral of such a shameless ex-daughter-in-law, right? Zhou Ying was Qiao Zijin's daughter. Logically, Even if everyone else in the Zhou family did not attend Xiao Zijin's funeral, Zhou Ying still had to do so. The one who had passed away was Zhou Ying's biological mother after all. But Zhou Ying was too young, and it was inconvenient for the Zhou family to attend the funeral. Firstly, it was unlucky for their joyful occasion to clash with mourning. Secondly, the date of Zhou Zheng's wedding happened to be the date of Xiao Zijin's funeral. The invitations had already been sent out and there was no way for them to change the date of their wedding. As such, the Zhou family was really unable to find someone to accompany Zhou Ying to the capital. Her biological mother had died, and Zhou Ying had to attend her funeral. But did that mean she could not attend her biological father's wedding? It was Xiao Zijin herself who had sent Zhou Ying back to the Zhou family. So what was wrong if Zhou Ying was closer to the Zhou family? The Zhou family gave 100 excuses as to why they would not be going, and neither would Zhou Ying. On the other end of the phone call, the ends of Jiao Nan's lips curled up. She could not help but reply with a cheeky smile, "I see. Congratulations to you. I hope you enjoy your new marriage." If the person who had called today had been Mother Zhou would have been the one saying these words. And once Jiao Nan went home, she would immediately shoot at Zai Sheng. Chapter 1613, Discredited. No matter how brilliant a woman was, she would still get muddled once she got old. The mourning period had not even passed, but the Zhou family was using such excuses to refuse to attend Xiao Zijin's funeral. That was seriously foolish, but utterly brilliant at the same time. Zhou Zheng had gotten married at such a sensitive time. She did not feel as though she owed the Zhou family a favor because Xiao Zijin had cheated on Zhou Zheng. But could she really not hate Zhou Zheng for doing this at such a time? He was practically insulting them. She was practically already a saint for tolerating the Zhou family even though their relationship was thoroughly strained. She fought relentlessly with Xiao Zijin and could never get along with her. But both of them shared the same surname. If her relationship with Xiao Zijin was really so strained, would she let Xiao Zijin marry into the Zhou family to lead a good life? Anyone with a brain would know that that would be impossible. Xiao Nan had always felt that her disagreements with Xiao Zijin were the Xiao family's problems. There was no need to air their dirty laundry out in public. At the same time, she had never thought of letting outsiders know about their strained relationship as long as Xiao Zijin did not overstep her boundaries. Xiao Nan was all too clear about her status. Even if she had not entered the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, she was the Zai family's daughter-in-law. As long as she revealed just a hint of her disharmony with Xiao Zijin would probably have a hard time trying to lead her own life not just in Pingcheng or the capital, but half of China. Zhou Zheng never had any say in how she wanted to deal with Xiao Zijin. Zhou Zheng had done a terrible job in not being angry toward Xiao Nan. His tone was especially difficult to listen to when he was trying to explain the situation to Xiao Nan. Zhou Zheng's ecstatic tone and attitude made it seem as though he was Xiao Nan's creditor. Because of what Xiao Zijin had done, Xiao Nan owed him a huge favor. Such uncalled for confidence had to go. All Mother Zhou's efforts before had all been ruined by Zhou Zheng's one call. In short, Zhou Zheng's style and attitude had already reached Xiao Nan's bottom line. Even though bad things struck her one after another, and her relationship with Xiao Zijin had been so strained, she had always still been able to say that the dead should be respected in the end. But who would have expected that Zhou Zheng had an even more ruthless and vicious attitude than Xiao Nan? It was no wonder Xiao Nan was fuming. If all her accumulated negative emotions were really to explode, it would not be a small matter. After hanging up the call, Xiao Nan looked at Xiao Dongliang, who was angrier than she was. How long has it been since Zijin got divorced from him? And he's getting married already? I knew it. I knew it wasn't Zijin's fault. It's definitely Zhou Zheng's fault. He's getting married so quickly. It must be that he already had an affair even before getting divorced from Zijin. Zijin was being falsely accused. Zhou Zheng must have wanted to be with his mistress, so he purposely set Zijin up and accused her of an affair to force her to get a divorce. Nan Nan, I won't blame you if you don't care about this matter. But I'm Zijin's father. I must get to the bottom of this. I must make Zhou Zheng and the Zhou family apologize to Zijin. Xiao Dongliang had just raised his suspicions when that bold Zhou Zheng made such a call that could be easily misunderstood. It was really no wonder that Xiao Dongliang was infuriated. Xiao Nan pursed her lips. Sometimes, it's better to do than just to say. Dad, believe me. Don't investigate this matter. If you try to investigate it, it'll only be shameful to our Xiao family. Don't you remember that the guy Xiao Zijin had found outside was Chen Jun? Zhou Zheng may have married his ex-girlfriend, but Xiao Zijin had also gotten into a relationship with her ex-lover and ex-boyfriend. The Chen family has much higher standing than the Zhou family in Pingcheng. If Zhou Zheng really only meant to smear Xiao Zijin's name to force her to get a divorce so that he could marry his ex-girlfriend, do you think that Xiao Zijin's partner would be Chen Jun? Zhou Zheng isn't so daring. If he dared to do so, he should realize that once anything happened to him or the Zhou family, it would already be magnanimous of our Zai family as long as we didn't add salt to the injury or deliberately get revenge against them. When they got into any trouble, they shouldn't expect our Zai family to help him in any way. Besides, if the Zai family didn't render help, the Zhou family wouldn't be able to deal with the Chen family alone. If this matter was really orchestrated, you wouldn't even be the first to act on it. The Chen family would have long ago made a mess of the Zhou family. Wronged? If this matter was truly false, Chen Jun would be the first to refuse, and he would even cause a ruckus in the Zhou family. For such a setup, one could not possibly pick just any person. At the very least, the Zhou family and Zhou Zheng could not afford to offend the Chen family. Xiao Dongliang was especially unwilling to accept this fact. Now that Xiao Zijin was gone, even if it was too late, Xiao Dongliang still wanted to do something for Xiao Zijin as a father. It was just that Xiao Dongliang was not Ding Ji and was still rational. Hearing Xiao Nan's analysis, he knew that Xiao Nan was right. If the Zhou family did not understand the times and looked at the Zai family's reputation, Xiao Dongliang knew that there was no way Xiao Zijin could have married into the Zhou family on her own account. Similarly, if Zhou Zheng was going to malign Xiao Zijin, the Zhou family would definitely have been prepared for the Zai family to find out about it. If the affair was fake, they had even implicated Chen Jun. How could Chen Jun endure the Zhou family discrediting him in this manner? One was the Zai family, and the other, the Chen family. The Zhou family could not even afford to offend the Chen family. How could they even dare to test the limits of the Zai family? So, what do you intend to do? I really can't accept that Zhou Zheng got married so quickly. No matter what, I won't let this matter rest just like that. Since Zhou Zheng dared to treat Zijin like that, he had to get revenge on Zhou Zheng. Xiao Nan sighed. Dad, if I don't care about this, how do you intend to get revenge on the Zhou family? Xiao Dongliang's face flushed as he cradled his head in anger without speaking. How would he get revenge? He had no power, no manpower, and no money. How would he get revenge? He had said that he was unhappy with Zhou Zheng's attitude and wanted to get revenge. Unless he really went up to Zhou Zheng and gave him a good beating, there was nothing else he could do. Zhou Zheng had gotten married so quickly and refused to allow Zhou Ying to attend Xiao Zijin's funeral. It was just that Xiao Dongliang was unwilling to let Zhou Zheng get his way just like that. But Xiao Dongliang really lacked the ability to do anything that would teach Zhou Zheng a good lesson. The only thing he had left was his daughter, Xiao Nan. Actually, Xiao Dongliang had been beating around the bush the whole time. What he had in mind was for Xiao Nan to teach Zhou Zheng a lesson. Xiao Dongliang scratched his scalp and sent the helve after the hatchet. Nan Nan, Zijin is already gone. Don't be so stingy with a dead person. Didn't you say that we should respect the dead? Chapter 1614, Caught Red-Handed. Dad is useless and can't do anything for Zijin. You've been sisters with Zijin for more than 30 years. Are you willing to let Zijin be bullied like this even after her death? He, Xiaonan had not even had a chance to say anything before Dabao, who had heard the conversation, laughed. Smiling grimly, Dabao ran to Xiaonan's side and grabbed Xiaonan's hand tightly. Only by doing this was he able to control the burning fire within him and not say cruel words to the miserable old man, Xiao Dongliang, who had just lost a daughter. Dabao could not understand why kind people were so easily bullied. His mom was the victim and had been hurt countless times. Was his grandfather even humane? His mom had never said that Zhou Zheng would lead a nice and perfect life by doing so. Did his grandfather think that his mom had not been hurt enough? With all his calculations, he even spoke such words to his mom. Why did his mother have to take on all the hurt? And why did his mother have to do everything? Was this what his mother deserved? Arg! Why did you come, Dabao? Upon seeing Dabao, Xiao Dongliang's fatherly heart caused him to rein in his temper. After all, Xiao Dongliang sincerely loved the three triplets from the bottom of his heart. He had never felt so much toward even Xiao Zijin. Naturally, he would not bully Xiaonan in front of the three children, even if he was Xiaonan's birth father. Our school's sports festival. Dabao's tone was extremely cold. After meeting his grandmother's entire family, Dabao realized that there were two sides to a person. Everyone in his maternal grandmother's family was like that, even the grandfather who had always treated them well. In the short span of just a few days, Dabao clearly recognized that his mom was the only one who was being bullied by everyone else in that family of four. She was at the bottom of the food chain, the one who was always eaten by others. Dabao could not help but think about how his mom had been bullied all those years ago in the Chiao family when she had not yet made a name for herself. Ever since Dabao had found out that his mom had not had an easy life in the Chiao family, Dabao had constantly been trying to find a way to cajole Miaojing into telling him about the details of Xiaonan's life in the Chiao family. Thankfully, Miaojing was able to resist it and only said that it had not been easy indeed. But she had never once spilled the details. But Dabao had found another way. He had gotten it out of Xiao Bao. Xiao Bao was the Tian family's little emperor, and the elders of the Tian family adored him terribly. No matter how obedient Xiao Bao was, or how many people favored him, he would still inevitably have some small problems. Once, Xiao Bao tore his book. Zihua learned about this matter and did not want Xiao Bao to cultivate this into a habit. Thus, she scolded him. Xiao Bao said that he had finished reading the book and no longer wanted it, so his solution was to tear it. Zihua reprimanded Xiao Bao directly. Don't you love your aunt the most? Don't you know that your aunt loves books the most? Now, you're even tearing them apart? When your aunt was young and wanted to study, she couldn't even keep her own textbooks. All the textbooks that she had finished using were sold by her mother. Your aunt was so desperate that she cried and spent a lot of money to purchase other people's second-hand books from the garbage station just to continue studying. You'd better learn from your aunt and take good care of your books. Stop tearing them. Do you understand? Indeed, using Xiaonan as a role model was a successful way of disciplining Xiao Bao. Xiao Bao got rid of this bad habit of tearing his books, and he even tearfully told Dabao that they should not tear books apart either. Otherwise, his aunt would be mad. Dabao himself was someone who liked to study, so there was no doubt he knew that he had to keep all his old textbooks before graduating to the next stage. That was because all the knowledge in these old books would be useful when taking the graduation examination. The three children no longer kept their elementary school textbooks, but once they entered junior high school, Xiaonan tirelessly kept every single one of their junior high textbooks for the three children after they had finished using them in school, without throwing even one textbook away. Thinking of Xiaonan's mom selling the books that Xiaonan had kept for herself, Dabao was so furious that he could not even maintain that stony cold face that resembled his father's. At the same time, what made Dabao most resentful was the difference in Xiao Dongliang's behavior today. Qiao Dongliang was the head of the Qiao family. Why had he not cared when his own wife mistreated his daughter? Why had he allowed it to happen and just let Qiao Nan get bullied like that? Just thinking about this, De Bao experienced what it meant by being so angry that it hurt the liver. Hearing could never be as shocking as experiencing it for oneself. When Qiao Zijin died, his grandfather wanted to be a good father and wanted to get revenge for his elder daughter. But did that mean that he could just take advantage of his younger daughter without any limits? Whom did his mom owe? Then, he thought about how well Qiao Nan had treated Qiao Dongliang in the past few years. She had specially arranged for Qiao Dongliang to move from Pingcheng to the capital, had arranged accommodation for him, given him a monthly living allowance, and had even brought the triplets to visit him regularly. If it was not for the sudden appearance of his maternal grandmother and elder aunt, they would never have realized how their grandfather had mistreated their mom in the past. Yet, their mom was still treating their grandfather so well. The division between right and wrong was clear in a child's world. If it was not black, then it was white. They did not know that apart from black and white, there was also the existence of grey areas in the grown-up world. Thus, De Bao could not accept that Qiao Dongliang did not treat Qiao Nan well and even went overboard at times. In the face of such a father, why did Qiao Nan still do her best to support Qiao Dongliang? He thought about all those news articles he had seen whereby the elderly had devoted all their efforts to their children. But when their children finally made a name for themselves, not a single one of them cared about their parents and instead left their parents to die. By contrast, De Bao felt that his mother was too kind. It was exactly because she was too soft-hearted that she was being taken advantage of. Oh, sports festival! Qiao Dongliang could feel that De Bao's gaze toward him had changed. With that, Qiao Dongliang felt so miserable that he did not even know what to do. De Bao, are you angry at Grandpa? De Bao chuckled. Grandpa, we're doing fine. Why did you suddenly ask that? Why don't you tell me if you've done anything to make me angry? Bao's and San Bao's expressions were similarly bad. Because of Qiao Zijin and Ding Ji, the relationship between the three children and Qiao Dongliang had suddenly gotten a lot more complex. But because Qiao Nan was here, the children had still come. Or in other words, Qiao Dongliang's luck was not very good. It was only when he had finished dealing with Qiao Zijin's funeral matters and enshrined Qiao Zijin's photo in his home that he had mentioned Qiao Zijin to Qiao Nan for the first time, hinting that Qiao Nan should seek justice for Qiao Zijin, who had already passed away, and make life difficult for the Zhou family. Chapter 1615, What are you angry about? What was awkward was that Qiao Dongliang had been caught red-handed at once by the triplets. Their grandpa was bullying their mom. Mom, I haven't seen you for just a few days, but you've lost weight. You're so skinny now that you're practically just bones. Bao walked toward Qiao Nan while smiling. His tone was much warmer, but he did not even bother to greet Qiao Dongliang. It was as if he had not seen his grandfather at all. That won't do. I'll call Grandma now and get Grandma to buy an old hen to make some stew for you for nourishment. Mom, don't worry. Dad is dead set for you. In his eyes, there are only two kinds of women in the world. The first kind is his only wife, who is also my mother. The second kind is any other woman apart from you. Don't try to lose weight like those young ladies for the sake of beauty. His mom was not even fat to begin with. If she were to lose even more weight, there would be no fats left for her to lose. Learn from those young ladies. Qiao Nan was amused by Bao's words. She tugged gently on Bao's ear. That's right. I'm already a mother of 3. In a few days, I'll be turning 40. I'm indeed not young anymore. Are you despising me for being old? Her 3 children were already in junior high school and would then go on to high school and university. Once her children established their own families, she would soon become a grandmother. Bao deliberately feigned that he was in pain and cried out. Mom! Mom! This is your own son's ear. Be gentle. In my eyes and heart, you're not old at all. You're just like a flower that has just bloomed. Forever 18. San Bao had grown old, but his mother had not. What an act! San Bao's face was full of disdain. Mom, how could you give birth to a son like Bao? He's such a tease. When I'm outside, I don't even want to admit that Bao is older than me and that he came out before me. Wouldn't it have been much better if you gave birth to me second and let me be Bao? Then, it wouldn't even matter if he got out of line since he would be the youngest brother anyway. Nonsense! Why is it my fault for giving birth to him in this way? It's his fault for growing up into what he is now. Xiao Nan refused to take on the responsibility. If you want someone to blame, you can only blame Bao himself. It's got nothing to do with me. Just think about it. Are your dad and I like that? Your dad and I have no genetic responsibility at all. Bao had inherited this from his grandfather. But so as to not ruin Zai Yayawai's image as a mighty grandpa in front of the three children, Xiao Nan kept that last part to herself. Who would have known that Zai Yayawai, who was typically more solemn than Zai Sheng, would have such a side to him when he was younger? Perhaps he was afraid that he would reminisce about his past when seeing Bao, but every time Bao acted like that, her father-in-law would either turn around or hide in a corner, refusing to give so much as a glance toward Bao. As such, before Bao went to junior high school, her father-in-law tried to minimize his interactions with the bold and daring Bao. This almost made Bao misunderstand that his grandpa only liked Bao and San Bao and disliked him. Thankfully, every time Zai Yayawai prepared gifts for the three children, Bao was never shortchanged. In fact, Bao often found that his grandpa's gift was exactly what he wanted. Bao could not help but think that his grandpa cared very deeply about him to be able to know what he was thinking and to give him gifts that suited him so well. All right, he had misunderstood his grandpa. His grandpa not only favored Bao and San Bao, but his grandpa also liked him very much. Bringing this up, San Bao felt a twinge of regret all over. Ah, if only I was Bao. How nice would that be? Compared to Bao, I'm much more like an elder sister. Bao was always going out of line. He was nowhere as reliable as Bao. Caressing San Bao's head, Xiao Nan laughed but did not utter a word. While the three children were still in her stomach, she had no control over who was born first. Even if she had undergone a caesarean section, it would all depend on which baby the doctor brought out first. The three children chatted so eagerly with Xiao Nan, and the mother and children were all in good moods. Just looking at this scene was enough to warm one's heart, except for one person's. Xiao Dongliang realized that apart from the first few sentences when Bao had been talking to him, Bao and San Bao had never once called him grandpa up until now. The way the three children gathered around Xiao Nan made Xiao Dongliang realize that the three children must have overheard the conversation between him and Xiao Nan. They must be angry that he was counting on Xiao Nan and even taking advantage of Xiao Nan to get justice for Xiao Zijin. If he had any other choice, he would certainly do it himself and get justice for Zijin from the Zhou family. However, he was incapable of doing so. What he did have was a capable daughter. Other than getting Nan Nan to settle this matter, what other choice did he have? Knowing that the triplets were angry at him, Xiao Dongliang felt that his life was miserable as a grown man. His relationship with his grandchildren had been fine to begin with, but he was truly worried that today's incident would cause the children to distance themselves from him. When old Lin was still alive, Xiao Dongliang envied the intimacy the three children shared with old Lin. When old Lin passed away, Xiao Dongliang had seen how heartbroken the children had been. He could not help but think that he would die with no regrets if the three children would be as heartbroken as they had once been when he passed away. Later, Xiao Dongliang found an advantage of old Lin being gone. Gradually, he had grown closer to the three children. Xiao Dongliang had always hoped that he could be like old Lin, or perhaps, even surpass old Lin's position in the children's hearts. But with today's uproar, Xiao Dongliang knew that his wish would never be realized. Xiao Dongliang's expression became increasingly stiff. "You three are here. Who sent you here?" His house was rather far from the Zai family's house. It would be too unsafe for the three children to have come here on their own. After Xiao Zijin passed away in a car accident, every time Xiao Dongliang saw a car, it was as though he was seeing a monster. He was almost psychologically scarred. Other than Nan Nan, the whole family of four had all been pinned under cars before. As such, Xiao Dongliang had reminded Xiao Nan to be careful when driving so that she would not encounter the same thing that they had. "Dad sent us here," De Bao replied coldly. He no longer liked his grandpa, but he could not ignore his grandpa. His mother had taught him to be polite. He could not act badly just because the other person was a villain. That would break his mother's heart. "Yes, I sent them here. Because Zai Sheng had to park his car. He arrived later than the triplets and had missed the conversation between the father and daughter. But the moment he entered the house, Zai Sheng sensed that the atmosphere was a little strange. Zai Sheng looked at Xiao Nan. His father-in-law had always adored the three children immensely, so why were the children upset at his father-in-law? Chapter 1616, Simply Leaving. He had thought that his father-in-law was the only adult in the world who would never be angry at the children and also whom the three children would never despise. Xiao Nan caught Zai Sheng's gaze but did not provide Zai Sheng with any information. The moment he saw Xiao Nan's reaction, Zai Sheng understood that the person that his father-in-law had offended was not the three children. He had been bullying Xiao Nan again. Among the 5 people present, there was no one, including the 3 children and his son-in-law, Xiao Dongliang dared to provoke apart from his biological daughter, Xiao Nan. Guessing that Xiao Dongliang was plotting something again, Zai Sheng immediately changed his tone. "Dad, I'm here with the triplets to bring Xiao Nan home. Have the two of you finished chatting?" But that was not the truth. Xiao Dongliang was devastated about Xiao Zijin's death. Now that Xiao Zijin was dead, his relationship with Ding Ji was even more strained. Perhaps it was because he felt that Xiao Zijin did die under Xiao Nan's wheel after all. Miao Jing was worried that Xiao Dongliang would be too heartbroken. Considering how he was already living such a lonely life, he might do something foolish. It was exactly because Xiao Zijin could not sort out her thoughts that she had refused to let the doctors save her even after being pushed into the operation theatre. A daughter like this was bound to have a similar father. Miao Jing had to consider this thoroughly to avoid having to organize another funeral before the year came to an end. Knowing that Xiao Nan had gone to visit Xiao Dongliang, Miao Jing directly ordered Zai Sheng to bring the 3 children to visit Xiao Dongliang. It was way too troublesome and time-consuming to cook at home, so Miao Jing asked Zai Sheng to bring Xiao Nan and the triplets out for a meal with Xiao Dongliang. With his daughter and grandchildren by his side, Xiao Dongliang's spirits would probably be lifted. No matter how upset the 3 children were, they still had feelings toward their grandpa, Xiao Dongliang. Knowing that Xiao Dongliang's mood was down, the triplets naturally did not have any reason to refuse. They had initially wanted to give their grandfather a surprise. But who would have expected their grandfather to have given them an even greater surprise? De Bao had already thought of saying that from the start, but before he could even say anything, his father had expressed what De Bao had wanted to say before even figuring out the situation. Since his father felt the same way, De Bao was naturally overjoyed and looked at his father in awe. Dad was dad after all. He had not even said anything, and his dad had guessed the situation through observation alone and had made such a decisive decision. Dad, Grandpa, and Grandma are still waiting for us at home. Grandma and Grandpa aren't in good health. It's not good to keep them waiting to have their meals. What if they get too hungry? I think we'd better hurry back. Grandpa, you should have a good meal tonight too. No matter what happens. Your body is the most important. You must be in good health to carry on with other things. De Bao's mood had improved and his expression had warmed up significantly. Before leaving, he could even say such reassuring words to comfort Xiao Dongliang. Now that he had heard De Bao's concern, Xiao Dongliang, who had been uneasy at first, began to think that he had been overthinking the situation earlier. De Bao had not been angry at him after all. Smiling, Xiao Dongliang said, "Don't worry. Grandpa understands. You three are still young. Grandpa wants to see you grow up, go to university, and become outstanding people like your parents. When you have children in the future, Grandpa will help you look after them." The three children had not grown up yet, but they were part of the Zai family after all. He pulled a long face and felt uneasy, as though he was facing the three old chiefs at the same time. Thankfully, the three children were still young and did not hold grudges for long. Perhaps, they did not really understand the conversation between Nan Nan and him either. In the future, he would have to be more careful when talking to Nan Nan. As the triplets grew older, they were sure to know more about the world. If the three children overheard the conversations between Xiao Nan and him, they were sure to get mad at their grandpa sooner or later. If anything were to happen, he knew that the three children would be upset. He would find an opportunity to speak to Nan Nan when the three children were not around. "Grandpa, we're still young. Mom said that she won't oppose to us getting into relationships early, but she will never allow our results to deteriorate just because of our relationships. We won't dare to get into relationships so early, so it'll take another 10 more years before we get married and have children. Grandpa, we really can't spend any more time with you. We have to hurry back to have dinner with Grandma and Grandpa. Grandpa, we'll visit you again next time." Bao held Xiao Nan in one hand and tugged the latter toward the door. Once Bao did that, Xiao Nan could only follow along with Bao in order not to fall. San Bao smiled at Xiao Dongliang and obediently waved at Xiao Dongliang. "Bye, Grandpa. We'll come and visit you with Mom another time. Grandpa, eat more nutritious food and stay healthy." Saying a few more words did not require any money, and neither would it kill her. The way the three children spoke to their grandpa, no one would be able to tell that the three children were upset with their grandfather, Xiao Dongliang. If Zai Sheng had not known that his mother had tasked him with bringing Xiao Dongliang for a meal today, the three children would have successfully deceived him. The three children were not just angry at Xiao Dongliang, but they were infuriated. "Dad, we're leaving." Zai Sheng was supportive of what the three children were doing. There was no way Zai Sheng was going to allow him to have a meal with his family after bullying his wife. Zai Sheng was elated. He was just his father-in-law. Even if he was his own birth father, Zai Sheng was not going to let this matter go so easily. "Dad, take this money. You've lost some weight recently. Buy some good food for yourself to nourish your body." Before Zai Sheng left, he took out 1,000 yuan from his pocket, but he did not put it in Xiao Dongliang's hands. Instead, he simply placed it on the table. He took out half of the money that he had planned on spending on the meal and asked Xiao Dongliang to take care of himself. To Xiao Dongliang, this was no small sum. Anyway, both Ding Jiyi and Xiao Zijin loved money very much. Since Xiao Dongliang was their family, even if he did not like money as much as they did, he would not hate it either. This 1,000 yuan was sufficient for Xiao Dongliang to have quite a few good meals, and it would even make Xiao Dongliang happy. As such, Zai Sheng had no qualms doing so. Any problem that could be settled with money was not a problem at all. Xiao Dongliang would realize in the future that what he lacked was not money but the companionship of his loved ones. But when Xiao Dongliang finally realized that, he would never be able to find what he had lost. Xiao Dongliang looked embarrassed and wanted to return the money to Zai Sheng. "There's no need for that. I don't spend much money. What Nan Nan gives me is more than enough. You guys should take this money back. The three children are still young. They're still in junior high school. When they enter high school and university, they'll need to spend even more money. You guys had better save this money. Xiao Dongliang knew that he did not have much money and could not help with his daughter's expenses. Even the money that he spent on buying gifts for his grandchildren was from his daughter. But he really did not spend much and had always been frugal with his money. Especially in front of his grandchildren, all the more did Xiao Dongliang feel that he could not receive the money. Chapter 1617, Coaxing Mom. Afraid that Jiaonan and Zai Sheng would not receive it, Xiao Dongliang took up the 1,000 yuan and stuffed it into Bao's hands. Bao gritted his teeth and smiled. This 1,000 yuan was not given for nothing. If they did not give this 1,000 yuan out today, what their family would lose in the future would be far more than just 1,000 yuan. Without hesitation, Bao took the money from his hands and pressed it into Xiao Dongliang's pockets before taking Xiaonan's hands and running off. Grandpa, remember to buy more good and nutritious food for yourself. Now that Bao had started running, Zai Sheng just picked up his pace slightly to keep up with him. There was no need for him to run since he had long legs. De Bao and San Bao were triplets with Bao after all and had great chemistry among them. Once Bao turned around, De Bao and San Bao followed along and ran with Bao, even running ahead of Zai Sheng to let Zai Sheng guard the rear. Seeing that Zai Sheng was guarding the rear, Xiao Dongliang did not dare to take the money from his pocket to place it in Zai Sheng's hands. Xiao Dongliang was not so bold when facing such a son-in-law like Zai Sheng. After the family of 5 finally got downstairs to the underground parking lot, Bao took a deep breath. Thankfully, we managed to get out. If we really had to stay on, I think I would have exploded. It's not just you. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to maintain my image of a pure and innocent young lady anymore. San Bao patted her chest in relief. In the past, I never understood why I had such a grandmother and elder aunt and how grandpa could be so different from the two of them. But now, I understand that a family will always be a family. Grandpa, grandma, and elder aunt are all a family. That is for sure. It was not that grandpa was a good seed, and neither was it that he did not do anything bad. It was just that grandpa had hidden that side of him so well in front of them. It was only in front of their mom would he reveal his true nature. De Bao looked as though he had just escaped from a disaster. All right. It's good that we managed to escape. Let's not think about things like that in the future. I'm afraid we'll be sad thinking about it. De Bao took a deep breath and looked at Xiaonan. Mom, you had it hard in the past. If Dad bullies you or mistreats you in the future, be sure to tell me. I'll definitely be on your side to help you. It did not matter that he was still young and his physique, power, or capabilities could not compare with his father's. One day, he would grow up. Then, his father would be old. And when that time came, he would take revenge on his father for his mother and himself. Me too. Bao puffed up his chest. Dad, you heard us. We're the Zai family. We're not used to being treated differently even if we're from different generations, so we're telling you this directly. In the future, the 3 of us will always be on Mom's side to help her. You can't let Mom feel wronged. Do you understand? Now, their dad treated their mom quite well, but who knew whether he would continue to treat her this way in a few years' time or 10 to 20 years down the road. It would be better to give him a heads up than to have an ugly fight between father and son if that day were really to come. Zai Sheng's face was cold and he feigned a smile toward De Bao and Bao. He raised his hands and unhesitatingly hit De Bao's and Bao's heads forcefully. De Bao and Bao were in such great pain that their faces were scrunched up. San Bao, on the other hand, covered her mouth and stood laughing in a corner. That was how she felt too. It was just that she had not had the chance to express her wishes. Thankfully, she had been slow in doing so. That saved her a beating. Having disciplined his sons, Zai Sheng opened the door for Xiaonan to get in the car. When the 5 of them were all in the car, Zai Sheng finally burst out. Your mother is my wife. I'll take care of my wife. There's no need for you to worry about her or meddle in her business. If you have spare time, you'd better just eat more and grow up quickly to find your own wife and marry her. When that time comes, I won't care about how you take care of your own wife. With him around, did he still need those two rascals to worry about Nan Nan? What a joke! In short, if Dabeo and Erbao had such an idea, they might as well find themselves their own wives to lead their own couple lives. Dabeo and Erbao harumphed, their faces expressing their defiance. Miaojing and Zai Yaowai had already made preparations for only the two of them to have dinner together tonight. It was not only Miaojing who was not used to it. Zai Yaowai's behavior was also colder than usual. It was only when they heard from the auntie that Zai Sheng's family of 5 had returned that the eyes of the elderly couple twinkled. Miaojing stood up joyfully to welcome her precious grandchildren. "Why are you guys back? It's so early. Shouldn't you be in a restaurant having just ordered your dinner?" Logically speaking, there was no way for the 5 of them to have returned only after having a meal with Xiao Dongliang. "There was a small problem, so we came back. You and Dad haven't eaten, right?" Zai Sheng did not elaborate any further. On the way back, Zai Sheng had been meaning to ask about the matter, but he had held back after seeing that Xiao Nan's expression had just improved after leaving Xiao Dongliang's house. He was really curious about what his father-in-law, Xiao Dongliang, had done to provoke his wife, but there was no hurry. Even if he could not ask Xiao Nan herself, he could always ask the 3 children. Based on how the children were behaving earlier, Zai Sheng was certain that they knew what was going on. Zai Sheng had not even understood the matter himself, so he could not give Miaojing an answer. With just one look, Miaojing understood what her son meant. "That's right. Both your father and I haven't eaten. Since you were not around, we didn't have an appetite. Usually, you're in the military, the children are in school, but Nan Nan accompanies us. Today, even Nan Nan wasn't around." It felt as though the whole house was so empty. "Auntie, hurry and get some more dishes ready. We must have some more meat and vegetables. Cook more." Now that there were suddenly 5 more mouths to feed, that little bit of food that had been prepared earlier was clearly insufficient. Thinking about it, Miaojing was afraid that the auntie would not be able to prepare everything in time, so she squeezed into the kitchen as well and got busy with cooking. "I'll help out too." Xiao Nan rolled up her sleeves and entered the kitchen. Ever since Miaojing's culinary skills improved, Xiao Nan rarely stepped into the kitchen to help. But it was really because the auntie and Miaojing alone were more than able to handle the preparations. Today's situation was an exception. "Mom, I'll help you wash the vegetables." San Bao's eyes creased into crescents. Suddenly, all the women in the Zai family were busy in the kitchen. Erbao could not help but praise San Bao. "Wow! You're doing well today, San Bao. You're using your eyes to work. Great job!" Chapter 1618, Old Man. Erbao stuck out his thumb. Now that San Bao was in the kitchen with his mom, Dabao, and he would have the chance to tell his dad all about what had happened in his maternal grandfather's house earlier. "Dad, come. Let's have a chat." It was probably because he had really been agitated. It was the first time that Erbao did not have a great reaction in front of Zai Sheng. "Let's have a chat about what happened at Grandpa's house just now. If you choose not to stand up for Mom in this matter, Dabao and I will do it ourselves." Zai Sheng sneered and flicked Erbao on the forehead again. "Dabao and you are still children. How will you do that? He's my father-in-law. It's not even convenient for me to do anything. More so for you two who call him Grandpa. It'll be even more inappropriate for you two to do anything. Besides, Xiao Zijin had just passed away. It was possible that Xiao Dongliang was hit hard by Xiao Zijin's death and was not in the right state of mind. That could be the reason he had done something wrong. His father-in-law, Xiao Dongliang, had not even been able to do many good deeds while his mind was still clear, less so now when his mind was filled with grief and confusion. Dabeo was conscious of this first, so he let Bao speak first. It's inconvenient for us. It's inconvenient for you too. Then, is it convenient for anyone? Are we going to ask our paternal grandpa to do it? Or are we just going to let my mom be bullied like that? Dabeo could not let the matter go just like that. Now that his elder aunt was dead and could no longer bully his mom, was someone else going to do it? Was his grandpa going to bully his mom? His mom did not owe these people a single thing. That's right. You might agree, but Dabeo and I definitely won't. Mom's life is already hard. That burden that is mom's family isn't much. But to see them do such things to her, I really have to say something even if it isn't right for me to do so. That whole family is a burden to my mom. In the end, they even despise her for letting them have even better lives. What right do they have? Bao was so furious that he slammed the table. Zai Sheng smacked the back of Bao's hand. This was the third time Zai Sheng warned Bao to rein in his attitude. There would not be a next time. The next time, Bao would be punished. What right? It was him and Ding Ji who gave birth to your mom. Without them, there wouldn't be your mom. Without your mom, there wouldn't be the three of you. Do you still not understand? It was frustrating, but they had to accept that fact. Hearing Zai Sheng's words, Dabao's and Bao's faces darkened. After a while, Bao sullenly said, "Dad, thankfully, you and Mom are not like that. Mom is nothing like the people in her family. Otherwise, in just a few years' time, their lives would have been miserable." This time, Zai Sheng was pleased. "It's great that you know how good your mom and I are. When we get older in the future, the three of you have to be filial to us. And if you have your own families, take good care of them and don't cause trouble for us. If you have any problems, try to fix them yourselves. Don't come looking for your mom or me, especially not your mom. Most importantly, once you have children, don't ask your mom to take care of them. When she gave birth to the three of you, she was still in university. Just think about how difficult it was for her to take care of the three of you. She's already raised the three of you, so when you have children in the future, you should learn to take care of them yourselves. Do you understand?" He did not wish for a bunch of women trying to steal his wife away from him before having children. After having children, he did not wish for a bunch of children to be fighting over his wife. He would hate to have to fight with a bunch of children for his own wife even when he was old and no longer mobile. Zai Sheng was already feeling a little depressed. Was he the one marrying his wife or was he trying to help these people find a wife? When he was younger, Zai Sheng was ambitious and there were just too many things he needed to do. With so many people constantly occupying his wife's time and energy, Zai Sheng was already quite upset. But if Nan Nan's attention was still going to be on other people once he retired like his father, Zai Sheng would definitely not accept that situation. Nearing his old age, he and Nan Nan should get their own time after all. As for these children, the further they went, the better. Dabeo and Bao were momentarily silenced. So, their father's last sentence was the most important. Humph! What a petty man! His world revolved around his wife, and he was even fighting with his children for his wife's attention. Who would have expected that this majestic chief Zai, who was usually so suave and cold outside, was such a clingy old man at home? By the time Miaojing and Qiaonan brought out the dishes, the men of the Zai family had basically finished their competition. Just as Zai Sheng went up to take the dishes from Qiaonan, Bao squeezed ahead. But Dabeo managed to run ahead of the both of them and took the dishes over from Qiaonan's hands. "Mom, you should have called us when you were done with the dishes. We couldn't help with the cooking, but we can always help set the table." "That's right." Bao nodded. "There's still more inside, right? I'll get them out." Both he and Dabeo still dared to fight over the plates in his mom's hands. As for those in his grandma's hands, he would leave them for his grandpa. They had to leave some dignity for such a good grandpa after all. Otherwise, he would feel wronged on his grandpa's behalf. After being pushed aside by his sons who had formed an alliance, Zai Sheng felt his temple throb. What should he do? These rascals were still not grown up and at the age to get married, but he already had the urge to kick them out of his house. Zai Yayawai thoughtfully took the dishes over from Miao Jing's hands. De Bao and Bao are right. Since you guys cooked, it's only right for us to serve it. The weather is cooler nowadays, but these freshly made dishes are still quite hot. Don't take any more of them out. Get some rest. We'll do it. Anyway, De Bao and Bao were fighting over the dishes in his daughter-in-law's hands. Seeing his son concede defeat, Zai Yayawai rejoiced within his heart. Whether it was when he was younger or now, he had his fair share of conceding defeat to his son and daughter. Every dog had its day. Now, it was time for his grandsons to take revenge on his behalf. The grandfather and grandsons were in it together. Zai Sheng felt extremely helpless, but he could only pinch his own fingers. He had no choice now, but once the winter break came, he would send the 3 children back to the military. He would see how gleeful they could be then. It was often said that one couldn't avoid something forever. What's going to come would come eventually. De Bao and Bao did not yet know that their loving behavior toward their mom had evoked immense jealousy in their birth father. He would not let anyone who tried to fight for Qiao Nan's attention go. Not even his own sons. Chapter 1619, Strange Old Zai. After Zai Sheng and Zai Yayawai found out about what was going on, they returned to their rooms. Knowing how much Miaojing cared about Qiao Nan, Zai Yayawai did not wait for Miaojing to ask him before telling her about the conversation between Qiao Dongliang and Qiao Nan. So that's what happened. I guess it was the first time the 3 children saw Qiao Dongliang being so unreasonable and clingy toward Qiao Nan. They're so upset. De Bao and Bao have been finding an opportunity to get revenge on Qiao Dongliang on Qiao Nan's behalf. That can't do. Miaojing raised her voice before lowering it again. Everyone in the quad knows about how good and obedient our 3 children are. It will be too unjustified for them to disrespect their elders and scold their grandfather just to get back at that muddle-headed old man, Qiao Dongliang. I can't let the 3 children ruin their names for Qiao Dongliang's sake. Could Qiao Dongliang compare with her 3 grandchildren's futures? If they did not take revenge, the 3 children would continue to hold resentment within their hearts and would not be able to rest easy. If there was no other choice, she would teach Qiao Dongliang a lesson on the 3 children's behalf. She was peers with Qiao Dongliang after all. Now, Nan Nan was not only Qiao Dongliang's daughter but was also the Zai family's daughter-in-law. They had to be clear of their priorities. Qiao Dongliang was not bullying his own daughter but the Zai family's daughter-in-law. Did Qiao Dongliang think that the whole Zai family was dead and that he could just manipulate Nan Nan as he wished? I've decided. It's better for me to do this. I'll get justice for Nan Nan. Just because Qiao Zijin is dead, Qiao Dongliang only remembers Qiao Zijin alone as his daughter. Is Nan Nan a child that he picked up? Seeing how Miaojing jumped to conclusions without significant evidence, Zai Yayawai felt the same way as his son, extraordinarily sour. Their children were often away from home, and the 3 children were in boarding school. Thus, it was their daughter-in-law, Qiao Nan, who spent the most time with the 2 elders at home. Otherwise, Zai Yayawai would really be upset with this daughter-in-law of his. Zai Sheng knows how to deal with this matter. Besides, it won't be appropriate for you to show up. It'll be better for me to do it. Zai Yayawai rejected Miaojing's suggestion. If Miaojing were to approach Qiao Dongliang about this matter, it would only make Qiao Dongliang feel embarrassed at the very most. But it would be different for him. As long as Qiao Dongliang remembered that he was once from the military, his words would be much more powerful. I'll find some time to have a chat with him. Nan Nan indeed has it tough. Thankfully, she met a good mother-in-law like you. In Zai Yaoai's eyes, Xiao Nan was quite lucky. The time she spent with Ding Ji and Xiao Dongliang was only a little more than 10 years. The problem was that Xiao Nan had already been married into the Zai family for over 10 years. Miao Miao's health was not the best, but there were no major problems, so it was possible for her to live for another 2 decades. Xiao Nan had lived with a bad mother for more than 10 years, but Xiao Nan would live with a good mother-in-law, Miao Miao, for more than 30 years. If one looked at it this way, meeting a good mother-in-law was not any worse than being her biological daughter. Miao Jing proudly lifted up her chin. Then, you should take a closer look. No one is luckier than me to have a good daughter-in-law like Nan Nan. Our 2 dreadful children, Zai Sheng and Hua Hua, can't even match up to the time Nan Nan spends with me. As far as I'm concerned, Nan Nan is even closer to me than my own daughter is. And I saw that you weren't in a very good mood when Nan Nan wasn't home for dinner tonight. Admit it. You treat Nan Nan like your own daughter too. Zai Yaoai raised his eyebrows, quietly turned off the lights, and covered himself with the quilt. Then, he said sullenly, you've said it yourself that Xiao Nan spends more time with the 2 of us and has even given birth to 3 intelligent and obedient grandchildren. So, she's also a hero in the Zai family. What's wrong with me treating her well? It was only because Xiao Nan had made great contributions to the Zai family that he treated Xiao Nan well as a daughter-in-law. It was not as incredible as Miao Miao had put it. Miao Jing was over the moon. Act. Just act. If he did not love Nan Nan from the bottom of his heart, why was old Zai even more anxious about Nan Nan than her own biological father was upon hearing that Nan Nan had encountered a problem and was being bullied? Of course, she could not rule out that Xiao Dongliang's lack of reaction was because he was incapable. No matter how angry or worried he got, there was nothing that he could do for Nan Nan in the capital. The problem was his attitude. Xiao Dongliang's behavior showed that he did not care for Xiao Nan as much as her father-in-law did. That could not be right. It had always been said that even an honest and upright official would have difficulty resolving a family dispute. Was old Zai the kind of person who was willing to meddle in other people's father-daughter relationships? Old Zai had said that he would talk to Xiao Dongliang. Old Zai must have thought it over carefully and felt that he, out of all people, would have the greatest impact on Xiao Dongliang and thus benefit Xiao Nan the most. Otherwise, there was no way old Zai could have readily agreed without hesitation the moment his son brought this matter up. Even though old Zai had already had such a plan, he had waited for his son to beg him for help. Even then, he acted as though he was only agreeing to it reluctantly. What a trickster! Feeling that Zai Yaoai seemed to be regressing, acting even more childish than old Master Zai had, and needing his 3 grandchildren to coax him at times, Miao Jing felt helpless. Thankfully, De Bao and San Bao always wondered if Bao reincarnated in the wrong body since he was not like Nan Nan or Zai Sheng at all. That was because De Bao and San Bao had yet to see through their grandpa's true nature. In her opinion, Bao's personality was the spitting image of old Zai. That was what old Master Zai had said when he was still alive anyway. So that was it. Old Zai was to be blamed for Bao's personality. After nagging at Zai Yaoai, Miao Jing finally switched off her bedside lamp and lay down. Only then did Miao Jing cover herself with the quilt. Zai Yaoai, whose back had been toward her, turned around and stretched out his arms to hug Miao Jing within his embrace. His outstretched hand smoothly pinched the corner of the quilt to prevent any openings for the cold wind to enter. It could be bitterly cold in the capital during November or December. Sleeping in Zai Yaoai's embrace, Miao Jing could only smile. They were already a seasoned couple, but they still had to cuddle together while sleeping. Zai Yaoai had taken the matter into his hands and said that he would handle it himself. To allow the 3 children to go to school with an ease of mind, he even gave them a definite answer. Don't worry. The next time you come home, I promise that I'll have taken care of this matter. The goal is not punishment. It is more important to ensure that such a thing will never happen again in the future. With their grandpa's reassurance, the triplets' expressions brightened. But De Bao thought about it more than Er Bao or San Bao. He was the eldest son in the family. In the future, he would only be able to protect his loved ones if he was stronger. When he became a powerful and influential man, he would never let anyone bully his mother like that. Not even his maternal grandpa. Chapter 1620, Worlds Apart. Up until now, De Bao still did not understand why his grandpa treated his mom this way even though he was being supported by her. He had heard that in over 3 decades that his elder aunt had been alive, she had never been filial to his grandpa. She had never given him any money to spend. It would be considered good if she just avoided doing things that would anger his grandpa. Could it be that his grandpa and grandma liked naughty children and hated obedient children like his mom? But that did not matter. Even if his grandparents did not adore his mom, he did. He would live longer than his grandpa. When his grandpa died, he would still be young. When that time came, he would protect his mom even more and love her even more. Zai Yai was a person who was always true to his words. Xiao Dongliang was still in distress about how he had not been able to get justice for his daughter against Zhou Zheng for having held his wedding during the period of Jiao Zijin's funeral. As such, Zai Yai made his first visit to Xiao Dongliang's residence. Upon seeing Zai Yai, Xiao Dongliang was stunned and immediately greeted Zai Yai with a deep bow. "Chief, why have you come?" Even though the two of them had been in-laws for more than a decade, Xiao Dongliang had never been able to adapt to such a role. In his eyes, Zai Yai was not his in-law, and neither was he his younger daughter's father-in-law. Zai Yai would always remain as his superior. Zai Yai was more sensitive about this than anyone else, so he had never changed his attitude toward Xiao Dongliang. Since Xiao Dongliang did not treat him as an in-law, there was no need for Zai Yai to do so either. Anyway, it was not worth it. "Sit down. I've come to talk to you about something." "Please sit down, Chief. I'll get some tea for you." Xiao Dongliang's expression was not only stiff but also terribly frightened. If one did not know, they would really not be able to tell that these two men were in-laws. The way they interacted was as though Zai Yai was a much more superior creditor who was there to ask for repayments. It was as if Xiao Dongliang had owed Zai Yai a huge debt and was a bast *RD who had to sell his children to repay his debts. "You, too. Please take a seat." Zai Yai pushed the glass of water that Xiao Dongliang had given him to a side. "Looking at how you are, I don't think you've had a good rest lately." Xiao Dongliang smiled bitterly. "Sending off my own child, how could he have rested well? Besides, up until now, he had not been able to get justice for Zijin. He was a useless father. He had always been." Zai Yai's eyes twinkled. "It's not just for this reason alone. If it was just because of the Zhou family, then you can sleep well from tonight. At least in front of Zijin, you tried to be a good father. Compared to your other child, Zijin was much luckier. You can feel that you've done enough for her." Xiao Dongliang did not pay attention to Zai Yai's use of the phrase other child. He had placed all his attention on the Zhou family. What's with the Zhou family? Despite having not agreed to help him earlier, had Nan Nan gotten justice for Zijin from Zhou Zheng after all? It's not what's happened to the Zhou family, but what's happened to Zhou Zheng. Zai Yai corrected Xiao Dongliang. Xiao Dongliang was indignant. It had not even been that long since Zhou Zheng got divorced from Zijin before he got married again. And he even stopped Ying Ying from attending Zijin's funeral, saying that it would be inauspicious for such an auspicious event to clash with a funeral. If they really thought that it was so inauspicious, Zhou Zheng should not even have married another woman during such a time. It was not just Zhou Zheng's responsibility but also father and mother Zhou's. If they had been willing to stop Zhou Zheng, there was no way that Zhou Zheng could have carried on with his wedding. Zai Yai's gaze turned cold. This was the first time he was speaking privately with Jiao Dongliang, and it would be the last. He finally understood why his 3 grandchildren had been so worried before going back to school. They were actually quite tender-hearted, especially toward their loved ones. But the mere mention of Jiao Dongliang had brought about the gritting of teeth after that day. Now, Zai Yaowai realized that his emotions were not dissimilar to the triplets. He even told himself that this was the first time, but it would also be the last. If he were ever to talk one-on-one with someone like Jiao Dongliang again, any normal person would get so angry that he would experience symptoms of hypertension. I don't know who your superior was when you were still in the military, but what I can say is that I would never have had subordinates like you under me. Without a clear investigation, you're speaking with no evidence or basis, simply making things up from your imagination. Don't you know about these things? Do you know about the Zhou family's current situation? Do you understand the whole story? Just because you have lost a disobedient and unfilial daughter, Xiao Zijin, are you going to lump all those people you hate and the people who have wronged Zijin together? Jiao Dongliang's resentment toward father and mother Zhou meant that Jiao Dongliang actually blamed Jiao Nan in his heart. He blamed Jiao Nan for sending Xiao Zijin into the Zhou family, giving the Zhou family the opportunity to wrong Zijin. Jiao Dongliang was resentful against Jiao Nan for only targeting Zhou Zheng and for letting him off too easily. What rights did he have to blame someone else for doing too little? Was he not wallowing around at home in misery because he was completely incapable? Jiao Dongliang was indeed worlds apart from them. He was thankful that Jiao Nan had not grown up wayward even after growing up in such an environment. Quite on the contrary, she even had an upright character and was a good role model. Perhaps, all the good energy and essence of the entire Qiao family had gone to Jiao Nan alone. Jiao Dongliang had left the military because of the birth of his second child, so he had failed to achieve his final goal of rising to the position of a battalion commander. But the way Zai Yaowai saw it, there was no way Jiao Dongliang could have been promoted to a battalion commander even without the birth of his second child. Jiao Dongliang might even have been kicked out of the military soon after Jiao Nan's birth if he had stayed on. Apart from in front of Jiao Nan, Jiao Dongliang was always short-tempered in front of everyone else. Jiao Dongliang pinched his own hand in embarrassment. "Don't be angry, Chief. That's not what I meant." So, what happened to the Zhou family? Zhou Zheng had remarried happily, and the Zhou family was probably rejoicing over Zhou Zheng's remarriage. Could something else have happened? Knowing that Jiao Dongliang did not believe it, Zai Yaowai only stated the facts. Zhou Zheng is like his father, but his mind is even more unclear than his father's, nothing like his brilliant mother's. Mother Zhou had disagreed to Zhou Zheng's second marriage to his ex-girlfriend. Father Zhou stood on Mother Zhou's side, but Zhou Zheng insisted on getting married anyway. The Zhou family didn't really try to stop him either, but neither did they fork out a single cent for Zhou Zheng's second wedding. In other words, Mother and Father Zhou's attitudes toward Zhou Zheng's second marriage was like night and day when compared to Zhou Zheng's first marriage to Jiao Zijin, when they had spared no expense or effort.